Imagine this. You've planned your trip for months. Flights booked, hotel confirmed, bags packed. You land in Venice, walk toward the historic center, and right there at the entrance, someone stops you and asks you to pay a fee just to walk in. Not for a museum. Not for a tour. Just to be there. That moment is now real for millions of travelers. And it's not just Venice. Cities around the world are quietly adding new charges that many visitors never see coming. Today we're breaking down why this is happening, which cities are doing it, and what you need to know before you book your next trip. So why are cities suddenly charging people just to visit? The short answer is pressure. Over the past decade, international tourism exploded. Some cities went from manageable visitor numbers to being genuinely overwhelmed. Narrow streets packed wall to wall. Historic sites worn down faster than they can be restored. Local residents priced out of their own neighborhoods because short-term rentals took over the housing market. City governments started asking a serious question: if tourism is creating these costs, should tourists help pay for them? The answer, in more and more places, is yes. Let's start with Venice, Italy. For centuries, this city has been one of the most visited places on Earth. But the resident population has been shrinking for decades, and the infrastructure, canals, bridges, walkways, takes constant, expensive maintenance. Starting in 2024, Venice began charging a day tripper entry fee on busy dates, typically around €5 per person. It applies to visitors who are not staying overnight in the city. Travel advisories now note that the fee is active on selected peak days, and visitors need to register in advance through an official system. The goal, city officials have stated, is not to block tourists but to manage the flow and fund preservation efforts. Amsterdam has taken a different approach. Rather than a gate fee, the Dutch capital charges one of the highest hotel tourist taxes in Europe. As of recent reports, visitors staying in Amsterdam pay a percentage of their hotel bill directly to the city, a rate that has been increasing steadily. The city has also openly stated it wants to attract fewer, higher-spending visitors rather than large volumes of budget travelers. That's a significant shift in how a major European city thinks about tourism entirely. Bali, Indonesia, introduced a tourist levy in 2024. Visitors arriving in Bali now pay a fee reported at around 200,000 Indonesian rupiah, roughly equivalent to about $10 to $15, intended to fund cultural preservation and environmental protection. Bali's tourism industry is enormous, and the pressure on its temples, rice fields, and coastal areas has been a growing concern for local communities. The levy is framed as a contribution to protecting what makes Bali worth visiting in the first place. Kyoto, Japan, is another example worth watching. Kyoto has long struggled with what locals call over-tourism, particularly around its famous temple districts and narrow geisha neighborhoods. The city has implemented lodging taxes that increase with the price of the hotel room, and local authorities have discussed additional measures to manage visitor numbers in specific areas. Travel reports suggest Kyoto continues to refine its approach as the balance between tourism revenue and resident quality of life remains a real tension. New Zealand offers a slightly different model. The country introduced an International Visitor Conservation and Tourism Levy, known as the IVL, which most international visitors pay when they apply for a visa or travel authorization. The funds are directed toward conservation projects and tourism infrastructure. It's built into the arrival process rather than collected at a specific city gate, which makes it less visible but still a real cost to factor into your travel budget. What all of these examples have in common is the underlying logic: the places you most want to visit are often the places under the most strain. And the costs of managing that strain in conservation, infrastructure, crowd control, housing support for residents have to come from somewhere. For travelers, the practical takeaway is straightforward. Before you book, check whether your destination has a tourist tax, when it applies, how much it costs, and whether you need to register or pay in advance. Some fees are collected at hotels. Some are paid at entry points. Some are built into your visa process. Missing one could mean an unexpected charge or a delay at the gate. None of these cities are trying to turn visitors away. They're trying to make sure that the places worth visiting can still be worth visiting 10 or 20 years from now. That's a goal most travelers, if they think about it, would probably agree with. So here's the question for you. Which city's tourist tax caught you off guard, or which one do you think makes the most sense? Drop it in the comments. We read every one.